We just decided to play the guys who've had the best pre-season and played in the best form. And Tommy was very close to selection, but we just thought the balance of playing David and Paddy was the way to go. That's not to say that next week it won't be different. It'll be different for different teams, different locations, and it's a luxury we've got that we'll use during the year. Oh, look, you look at you've got options where you can stretch every team, but you don't really know till you get out there. I mean, on paper teams look different, but once you're in the contest, it'll depend on whether we get the sort of forward entries we want as to whether we can expose their backline. But if we can't get the entries, then it won't matter. Not really. I think it's irrelevant, really, what's happened in the past. I think that different teams, different players, different coaching philosophies. We looked at last year certainly as to why they beat us last year and had a good look. The way we played, the way they played, but other than that, we haven't looked any further than that. Yeah, we've played 2 games now, so Nathan's in our best 22 when he's fit. He's a terrific player, great competitor, and adds a bit of hardness to our team and maturity to our team. We are, except for our probably 5 or 6 players, a very young team. A lot of guys played under 50 games, so Nathan adds that maturity and just a great leader around our club. So as soon as Nathan's fit, we always put him back in the team. Yeah, look, it's really unfortunate for Trav. Trav's had a really good pre-season, as good a pre-season as I've seen. The last training session to break his thumb was just terribly unlucky. But fortunately for Trav, he's got great fitness base to be able to keep that up, and his assets, which are his speed, his run and carry, and his ball use, won't suffer too much from that thumb. I haven't really looked at whether North Melbourne are us in the same position. What I've looked at is how we beat them, and the importance of this game is it's 4 points and it gets you off to a great start. We need to win this game, as North Melbourne do, but it's not about you play debutants when they're ready. We had no one that's ready, and we played it's not a really experienced team because still a lot of young guys, but it's a really exciting team and a team that we think will get the job done on Saturday night. Oh, excellent, sensational. He's just a great competitor, and his strength, his speed off the mark, his ability to take marks in the contested situation, kicks goals when under pressure. So, he's as good as there is in the forward line in a team in the AFL, and we need to do a very good job on him. And we can't rely just on one person beating him either. We need to stop their flow of ball into the forward line to him, and then try and help out when the ball's in the air. Yeah, I find it. We're in the first game of a really long journey, and we're really intent on winning Saturday night, and we're going to do our best to win Saturday night. But I think to look at September in March is a very dangerous proposition. Sides will hit good form, they'll fall away, they'll get injuries, they'll come back to good form. It's a long year, and we're going to go and do our best job for Saturday night and not think too far past that. You can't get too starstruck on what's going to happen in 6 months' time. It's definitely part of it. It's not the only thing. If you get too focused on defence, then you can't win the ball and you can't kick goals. So we'll put a third of our time in defence, a third of our time into winning the ball, and a third of our time to how we kick goals. And it's been documented plenty of times that our defence hasn't been of the top 4 standard in the past 10 years really. And if we want to be considered a good side, that has to improve. I think we had over 100 points, about 100 points on average kicked against us last year, and that doesn't say you're a good team. So we definitely want to get that down while continuing to improve on the rest of our game as well. Definitely, yeah. I think we've got a good defence in terms of they've played together now for the majority of pre-season, but there's options there too. I mean, Jake Carlisle can come in the side and play a good role in defence. He did towards the back end of the year. I think the team you start with in round 1 is not the team you end with at the end of the year. The teams develop and grow, and we want to get better as the year goes on. I would hope that we're a better team at the end of the year than we are right now, because that's what putting 20 games into guys does. And you need to evolve and get better as the year goes on. Oh, definitely. Our boys are pretty tired by the end of it, as were most clubs. I mean, you go through a season, it's pretty gruelling, you're tired. But, we seemed to cop a lot of injuries probably about round 7 or 8 last year. And guys just kept falling away, and we couldn't really recover. Once you start to get a spate of injuries, it's very hard to recover, and because you think you're going to get one back, but then another one gets hurt. So that's something we're trying to avoid, and we've put a lot of time into pre-season, hopefully making our side more resilient around injuries. But also, setting up our fitness work so that, yes, it's very good now, but also carries us through to the end of the year as well. Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely learnt from last year, and our group's mature. I mean, it's more mature. It's 20 games on, it's a year on, and you can't, with one pre-season and one season, you can't hope to put everything into players you want to put in. It's a 3 or 4 year cycle that you need to get mature bodies from 18, 19-year-old kids to when they're 22, 23. And a lot of that's about their age, but a lot of that is about just pure work. You don't gain everything you need in one pre-season. Yeah, I don't think you'll see much of a different style to last year. I think we've tinkered with some things, but yeah, another year of teaching and coaching and learning and just the confidence in the guys themselves about being in an AFL program for another year is really encouraging. But that's all great, but we'll get tested Saturday night, as every club will, round one, and we'll find out where we're at and how much work we have to do to improve. So that's why round one's fantastic, because you get to see where you're at and what you have to work on. Not really. I think that I know as a player back in the late 90s and early 2000s, it was a very fierce rivalry, and both clubs were playing for for premierships and top 1, 2, 3, 4 in the competition. So how that affects the current day players, you have to go and ask them, because that was something you build with big contests, big games, and there's no doubt that North Melbourne have in the last 10 years won, I think, 8 out of 10 games. So for them, that's great. For us, we're about winning round one and defining who we are this year and building on, hopefully building through the season.